Ma'am? We couldn't hear you, ma'am. Kavita, ma'am, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am. Is it audible?
Yeah. It's audible now, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I thank the IoT Academy for providing me a great platform in sharing my knowledge towards the learned expertise who are there amongst us. And I want to tell you something which is very utmost important in this particular session. You can't change your first impression, but you can always create a new one. Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. And I once again thank IoT Academy for providing me an opportunity to share whatever ideas that I have for today so that it goes for a personal discussion with the later sessions. So in today's world, your personality is your portfolio. And if your portfolio is not going to be stunning, then for sure, I think you will be missing some great opportunities in life, as most of the opportunities demand a pleasing personality with great skills. But unfortunately, our education system, which is focusing more on academics rather than the personal development, and therefore, most of us always remain left behind in terms of the financial success, in terms of the job opportunities, in terms of right partner, and also the social status. So, but not anymore. So that's what I wanted to convey it to you. So there is a good news, and the good news is that you can always change. So change for the dream personality you have, which has always been desired. You can become the best version of your personality if you always have some kind of, say, kind of goals. And I should say, if you are, going to impress someone whom you meet with your communication skills, then that's the way you're going to be presenting with your body language, with your way of dressing, your positive attitude, your elegance, your confidence. And I should say, life is going to be changing, but the question is how. So everybody knows change is the only thing which is constant. So I just wanted to say how it is going to, have a greater impact on all of us, including me as a teacher. Okay, let's move on to the class or the presentation for today. It's on the psychoanalytic approach, which is very essential for us to understand. And everybody knows that we have something called as the three states of mind. One is the ego, next one is the ID, superego, preconscious, unconscious, and subconscious minds. So what we can see is outside is a conscious mind, which, where the information in your immediate awareness, how we, behave to the outside world. It is always visible. But something which is not visible is more important, where when you look into the, I'm putting it in the presentation mode, the thoughts, the feelings, and the information that is very difficult to bring it to the conscious awareness, which is very important for us. And this defines the personality. I'm not getting into what is the definition of what is personality, but just for the sake of presentation, yes, personality is the sum total of the physical, mental, and emotional attitudes, which combines with the values and interest and with the motivational factors. So all put together is our personality. So it is basically the development of an organized pattern of attitudes and behaviors, which makes us individual, in any individual who is very distinctive in their own way. Now, you might be wondering, what is this role of students, or role of teachers in student personality? Instead of teaching or instead of sharing the role of teacher's personality, why am I discussing on role of teachers in students personality? Because when we try to I should say mold the students personality and then develop the students personality, then there comes the very great opportunity of developing our own selves. So in the beginning, to start with, we have 12 great points which I wanted to share with you. So those 12 great points are encouraging the role models, character building, setting the principles and discipline, building the empathy, insist of respect, volunteerism, actions speak, avoiding the labels. You punish somebody very lovingly, then you got to listen, then we help them and we have a positive attitude. So instead of putting it as a 10 commandments, probably I would be saying that these are the 12 commandments, which is very essential for today's personality of the teachers. So basically, there is a lot of myth and contradictions between even teachers, should they become the leaders, or teachers, should they become the, what should I say, should become the great influencers, or teachers today, what kind of personality they must have. So to understand that, let us understand certain basic things, very, very basic, which sometimes, say for example, today you just ask me, what did you have for breakfast? I'll be thinking, what did I have? So what happened to your songs in 1985? Even the lyrics will come to your mind. Suppose when you're, going for a long drive and you listen to some of the old songs, you're able to sing along with it. So that's the kind of the memories that we have. So the basics are more essential. That is what I wanted to convey. And to encourage being as a role model, as a teacher, what we need to do is the students must choose a role model to follow. That we know that. But the teachers can make a conscious effort to highlight the positive characters from, say, from science, if you are a science teacher, from the literature, if you're going to teach English, or history, or any other subject, the discipline that we are teaching, let us focus on certain human or the role models where the students would pick it up as a positive characters, which is very essential for us. Even we would have had a lot of role models like this, I want to become. So from the 5 children, the last one alone became the president. How it is possible? So the teachers can also even make them dramatize story elements and styles with the role plays. Just now I had a class in the morning. I gave them the role play and asked them to come out with an innovative situation. It could be taking an example from BMTC. It could be from KSRTC. It could be from an automation industry. Anything it can be. Let them take a particular industry and enact them in such a way towards the team building, because the class was on leadership. So as a leader, how will you imbibe certain qualities in your team and how will you lead them? Let them make a better choice to inspire. So as teachers, what we need to do is we must discuss open-ended about the current scenarios and leaderships, not on politics especially, but we have various kinds of leaders whom we have not touched upon, and a lot of celebrities, of course, which gives them, say for example, in the biology class, when somebody is talking about on a reproductive system, or say probably muscle building, if you talk about, these are the muscles which is very hard, this is soft, this is, giving the technical names. Instead of that, there was a teacher somewhere I saw right now showing the Salman Khan picture and then trying to say, this is how it is. So children would remember very well. It's not that way, but to some extent, we can discuss on certain special characters or positive characters about the celebrities, the sport figures, and the role models as well. So ask them to select the people matching their words, their own words, asking them to prepare some adjectives with actions and help them to elaborate on how they can improve their own and their others' life with good quality traits, which is very essential. So as a teacher, what we are responsible? We are responsible for character building of the students. And character can be measured by what one would do if no one were looking. Again, I'll repeat. Character can be measured by what one would do if no one were looking. So if you want to build a character, a positive character in your own students, then what we need to do is we need to read some specific chapters, along with them some specific personalities, to come up with your personal slogans for it. Okay, we must imbibe the respect, the care, the responsibility, the fairness in them, the trustworthiness, which is, very much not seen in today's world, the courage, the diligence, and the integrity. All these we must imbibe in today's students. But for that, we need to set a strong foot in our own developing our own personality. So setting the principles and discipline, what we need to do for the students, we set an appropriate and practical rules for the classroom behavior. So we tell them 10 minutes before this class, I will leave you free, so that they don't disturb in between the class. There are some ground rules. So because we are also human beings, we know that what is the attention capacity, we know what is the retention capacity, and we need to understand how an individual can interpret, in what are the different ways that they can interpret. So these are some of the basic things, as a teacher, when we are able to understand and accept the student as they are and try to build their strength, then there we are doing a good job, right? So let the character and the traits and the practices infused by built by every rule. So for that, we need to set a good example for our own self. That is more important. And we need to stay more positive in praising the students who exhibit good characters and good behavior. That's all. Do not punish, or do not, apprehend, or do not have aggressive behavior towards the students who are, showing a bad behavior. Let's ignore the bad behavior. Then, one fine day that you can see the refinement. So have any doubts, you can ask, you can unmute your systems and talk to me. So build empathy is a fourth, I should say, the commandment, which makes a zero tolerance policy for the character assaults. So do not character assault any of the students at any point of time. If you have any issues, please call them to your room and have a personal discussion, and do not, address them by name calling or bullying. I saw a fat female, I saw no, this is easy to identify, but that's not the way that we, do it. And today's children know about, living in this LGBTQ. They are much more aware of the, racism, and aware of all this bullying and so many other things. So we just have to be very, very cautious in putting our words towards them. So encourage the caring and the empathetic attitudes, which is very essential. Ensure that every student is included in caring activities, and describe and have a good set of storytelling. Storytelling is a very beautiful art. So let's develop that, because one particular skill, if you see, for teachers who are, a great influencer, is the art of storytelling for the teachers. So the fifth pillar, or I should say the fifth commandment, is the foundations of respect for pillars and politeness. Respecting others' points of view and protecting your own self-respect without being defensive, based on the positive traits of the characters. I want to give you an exercise at this particular point. So let's take an exercise. There are other, 6 more commandments which we will see. But at this juncture, I want all of you to take this particular exercise. So let's move on to an exercise which is very important, and which will give us the kind of, what kind of personalities are we. Okay, so kindly take a paper and pen, and below are the 10 horizontal lines with 4 words on each line, 1 in each column. In each line, put the number 4 next to the word that best describes you in a line. So you just have to write either number 4. We have first column, second column, third column, and the fourth column. Can you see? I'm just showing it to you. Can you see LOGB? So L is likes authority, O is enthusiastic, sensitive feelings is G, and B is likes instructions. So in this first row, please put which is 4 for you, which is 3 for you, which is 2 for you, and which is 1 for you. So you just got to write the numbers. So you don't have to write likes authority. Just please write the item number. Item number is 1. And beside that, write whether the column 1 is 4 for you, 3 for you, 2 for you, or 1 for you. So no two items will be the same. So item number 1, you put 4, 3, 2, 1, which is 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Then item number 2, takes charge, takes risks, being very loyal, being very accurate. Accurate in the sense, are you very accurate in doing all the daily routine? It could be, or any, say, any of the competitions which is coming up, any of the events which you are in charge. Say it could be a conference which is given to you, it could be a symposium which is given to you, or maybe FDP which you are in charge. So are you very accurate in collecting the details? For example, IoT Academy, I'm not praising, very excellent in communication and in understanding the teachers, understanding the way how a session needs to be conducted. So all this, it's accurate. So whoever is in charge, they are accurate. So the number will be 4 for accurate. The third item is determined, visionary, calm, even, kneel, and consistent. You can take down any one of the word which suits you. The fourth item is enterprising, very verbal, enjoys routine, predictable. Which is the most dominant character of yours? Say, for example, in the fourth item, enterprising, is it the dominant? Are you very enterprising? Do you smile in the morning looking at somebody? Do you say, even if somebody doesn't wish you, do you say, hi, good morning? So very verbal. Do you need a lot of words to express yourselves? And enjoys routine. Everybody will get very bored when it is very monotonous. The same class, the same students, the same subject. How do I, get to learn? How do I get to read? Where do I get my time? So it's more of me, it's less of me, it's, not completely like me. So which is the one? 4, 3, 2, 1. The predictable. Predictable is you are predictable. By looking at my facial expressions, people will predict that what I'm going to do. Today morning, my madam was asking, madam, do you have an online session? Are you going for something? Do you have any external work? Yeah, because I was busily preparing all this materials. So it's easily predictable. I am predictable. So what happens in my item number 4, predictable is 4, enjoys routine is only 1. I don't enjoy routine because I always like changes. And enterprising is 3, very verbal is 2, and enjoys routine is 1. So which is 4, 3, 2, and 1. In the item number 5, am I very competitive? No, not very competitive. I would like to always stand something, who is very different. I am different. That is what I would like to, show as a teacher. Because as a teacher, we are managers, we are very good leaders, and we are very good change agent. We bring the transformation in these students, correct? So are you a promoter? Yes, I am a promoter. I dislike change. No, this will be number 1 for me. Can you see some of the words are, very confusing? That's because you enjoy routine. If you enjoy routine, then you will not dislike change. So can you see the item numbers 4 and 5? A lot many changes are happening. Okay. So item number 5, it is practical. Whether are you very practical? Yes, I am practical. If things are not working out, because sometimes every day, each one of you must be facing the timetable. Every day there is a change in the timetable. Correct? So what do you do? How do you manage? How do you go to the classes? Apart from the teaching workload, you are the coordinator for FDP, you are the coordinator for MDP, Management Development Programs, you are the coordinator for arranging for the conference, you are the coordinator for managing the symposium, or maybe preparation of the timetable itself, and preparation and passing on the information. Now as it is, everything is online. We post all the assignments online. Are you able to do that? Are you able to, correct all the assignments which is without any pending? So are you very practical? I am not very practical. I am little complicated. So we can understand, right? So based on the words, so there are 10 words which is given in L, and 10 words which is given in O, and 10 words in G, and 10 words in B. So please write which is 4, which is very dominant for you, which is 3, which is less dominant for you, which is it's not like me, 2, and not at all like me is 1. Okay. Though again, I'm repeating, I'm just showing you one choice of the first line of the words would be like as follows. The fourth is very enthusiastic. Yes, it's like me. And sensitive feelings. Yes, I'm like this. And I like instructions. The first one is like instructions, and the third one is likes authority. So I will give you the interpretation, not to worry. The seventh one is I am very productive. Yes, I'm very, very productive because the time is the most precious gift that we can gift for others. And I also understand time is the most precious thing in the world, which I cannot get it back if I, waste my time. So every minute, what I want to do, I want to make it and ensure that I'm very productive. And of course, fun loving, you will be now confused. This is also 4, that is also 4, madam. No, any one which is more, I'm not fun loving, little less. So productive is 4 for me, fun loving is 3 for me. Avoiding confrontations, yes, I don't like conflicts at all. I avoid the confrontation. Any kind of argument, any kind of disagreeableness, yes, I would say no to that. Consciousness, yes, I am aware. So this will be 2 for me. Avoiding confrontations, 1. Fun loving, 2, and productive will be 3. And 8th is bold, likes variety, sympathetic, and perfectionist. 9th one is the decision maker, spontaneous, nurturing, and detail oriented. And the 10th one is the persistent. Persistent means if somebody is not responding to you for your request or for your needs or for your, say, for example, students are not persistent. So are you persistent with them in order to get things back? Telling them, I will consecutively, I'll ask, I'll follow it up. Because, when you see, in the industry side, there is a function called as a performance appraisal. In the performance appraisal, most of the time it is conducted as a ritual, most of the organizations. Very few organizations, if you see, they conduct it in a very systematic way and try to understand that. And half of the organizations do not follow up the exit interview also. So if you are the HR person, do you follow it up persistently? If you are a teacher here right now, do you follow? There is one student who is very irregular to the class, who is not answering, probably, not providing a good behavior. You have a lot of disagreeableness with, their behavior. So are you persistent, consistently telling the candidate that, you have to be like this? Or, you're taking any measures to change the behavior or the attitude of the student? Is it possible? So are you inspirational? How many of you feel that, I am an inspirational teacher? Let's touch our hearts and tell, I'm an inspirational teacher. I'm an inspiration. I create inspiration. Is it possible? And I'm a peacemaker. Yes, of course. And analytical. Now, whatever the scores you have given, please try to total your scores. The column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. I'll give you 2 minutes time. Column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. If you have written 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, just add up all the numbers and please put it on the chat box. Let me see what is the total. So I hope everybody has taken up the test. This is of the personality test, which is having a lot of validity and reliability. I will just give you the scores, but before moving on to the scores, let me just show you this. The lines represent, I'm just showing it like this. Okay, the line shows that natural strength. If you're very high in lines, I would have shown you lines, correct? Then O for otters, then G, and then B. So if you have scored very high in the column L, then you guys, you teachers are very decisive, very goal-oriented, achievement-driven, gets results, very independent, risk-taker. And if you have any conflict in this particular interpretation, you can also feel free to post it in the chat box. As a basic disposition is, you guys are, I mean, we teachers are fast-paced and task-oriented. I come under this line because for me, time is very important. I keep watching the time. This is one job which is done, another job which is done. At the same time, sometimes I don't find time to give for the students who keeps coming and asking me, even from the other sections. So at that point of time, I feel that, I should have more time in order to deliberate and discuss with them what is really required. So the time management, lines focus now instead of the distant future. It's now. Now I should finish this. Now I want to, do this. So they get a lot more done in a lot less time than their peers. Hate wasting time. Yes. And like to get the right to the point. I don't like if people say is like I don't know, I'm not racist. In one of the community where they speak 10 sentences in order to communicate one particular meaning, or say instead of telling one particular statement. So 10 statements are not required. So I will tell, please come to the point. What do you want? So communication style. Great at initiating communication. Yes, I will initiate. Not good at listening. Yeah, sometimes, one-way communicator, because I talk. I also need to be a good listener, which is not there at some point of time. So I'm just trying to interpret. If it is me, it is not me. I'm just giving you an example. Okay. In the point of the decision making, the lions are very impulsive. Impulsive means immediate decision making. Makes quick decisions with the goal or the end result in mind. Okay. The results are focused, needs very few facts to make a decision. In the pressure or the tense situations, the lion takes command and becomes more autocratic. I asked you to do and you have not done. Still, it is not done. So, you can see all those kinds of the thing. Come on, hurry up. It was at 3 o'clock. So all these, statements comes under, the lines. The greatest needs of the lion will be to see the results. If they are getting the results, if the program is conducted in a very beautiful way, awesome. Yes, I have done my job very, that personal satisfaction you get. So that is, and what the lion desires, it desires the freedom. Just leave me alone, I will do it, Don't keep nagging, behind. Okay, and give me the authority, give me the power, give me, something where I can, full-fledgedly I can work on something. And I need variety, and I will, handle the difficult assignments, and very much, thankful for the opportunity for advancement. So these are the basic characters of the lion. Okay, next we move on to the next one, that is O. Who has got the L, which is very high? I have given you the interpretation. Some of you would have got O as the highest, the score. So this is actually having validity and reliability. You can also Google it for further references, and it is taken from the particular source. And the basic disposition of the otters. Otters is a kind of animal. So it is fast-paced and it is people-oriented. They love people. Okay. So the recognition and approval of others, they are motivated. If somebody pats on my back and says, wow, Rose Kavita, you have done a good job, that gives me more happiness. And the time management, if you see, otters focus on the future, what I need to do. So what I will do, I will always prepare a to-do list. I will prepare on that and keep accordingly going. And the communication style, if you see, it's more of enthusiastic and stimulating. Very smilingly, I, talk to people, and I can inspire and motivate others by telling a lot of stories, management stories, and a lot of autobiographies and biographies of the great people who have made changes to the lives of others. Decision making, if you see, intuitive and fast. I have something in my mind, yes, and take a quick decision. Makes a lot of right calls and lots of wrong ones. Lots of wrong ones, we cannot help it when it comes to the decision making. So if it's a wrong one, we need to think through and correct it. So in pressure and tense situations, these are all some of the characteristics of otters. The otter attacks in times of pressure. Just leave me alone, and can be more concerned about their popularity than about achieving tangible results. So they love, some kind of recognition and some kind of awards and some kind of reward also. So all these are the characteristics of otters. What the otter desires, they want prestige, and they want friendly relationship, an opportunity to help and motivate others. So this is the basic characteristics of otters. And the next one is the golden retrievers. So this is the most uh, it depends on how people see. They are more supportive. I hope the screen is visible. Their communication style, if you see, they are a two-way communicator, a very great listener, okay, and a very great communicator also, okay. And they feel very empathetic. Yeah, I heard you, I listened to you, I'm there with you. So what happens, happen. So let's move on. So the desire for good relationship and appreciation for others. So they are very great teachers who are coming under this golden retrievers also. People loving. Golden retriever, if you see, basically very, very friendly. Their desires are quality relationship, security, consistent known environment, and a relaxed, friendly environment. They will be very successful. These kind of teachers will be very successful if you give them a very friendly environment and freedom to work at their own space. And the last one is supposed to be the beavers. In the beavers, if you have scored very high in the beavers, then your communication style, if you see, they tend to work very slowly and make sure they are very accurate, the time, because they take a lot of time. They want more details, and unless and until the details are given, these kind of teachers will not agree to what is being told. Okay, so there will be a lot of problem with beavers, but still there is nothing wrong and there is nothing right. And this is the kind of the personality that you got to be. No, there is no hard and fast rule. Okay, that one thing we need to understand. So in terms of decision making, if you see, beavers, they avoid making decisions. See, it's a very great, thing. Avoiding decisions is also a decision. I hope how many of you agree to that. Postponing a decision is also making a decision. So these are some of the things which we need to think through. And here, these kind of individuals, that is the teachers, they need a lot of information before they make a decision. And if you see the kind of the pressure or the tense situations, the teachers who come under beavers, the beaver tries to avoid the pressure or the tense situations. They can ignore the deadlines. Deadline is there. Tomorrow I have to finish. I will finish. But still I have not got much of the information. I will do it. There are, one of my own colleague, go madam, we will do it. That's all. No tension, nothing. So absolute, we learn, from each other how we need to, maybe procrastination is not that very good, but still we think of, unless and until you're in the safe zone, beavers will not proceed. That is what I wanted to convey in this presentation of, what kind of personality development is really required for the teachers. So what the beaver desires is, the beavers who are coming, the teachers who are coming under the category of beavers, they will need clearly defined task, step by step like this. They need a very clear one after the other, one after the other. They need a kind of the stability. They need security. Don't worry, I'm there for you. A very low risk, you don't have much of, risk to take during that particular point of time. You don't have to be a great influencer. And the task that requires the precision and planning. So these are some of the things which is very important. And the teachers who come under the category of beavers are really, good and great, I should say. So this is all about, this particular test, which I wanted to share with you on this particular. So you'll have to total up the numbers for each particular column, LOGB. And what does L represent? O, lions. O represents otters. G represents golden retrievers. And B represents beavers. I hope the experiment and the exercise was very interesting to you. And moving on to the next point of the psychoanalytic approach and the personality development. How do we build a character? We have seen. How do we build the empathy? That is the fourth and the fifth pillar we have seen. And moving on to the very most important commandment, which we try to enhance, in the personality development is volunteerism. So here in the volunteerism, we need to highlight the virtues and importance of volunteerism for the students. So how do we do that? Once we volunteer only, they take us as a role model and then they try to do it. So are we teachers are interested in volunteering? Most of the things, it's a very big question mark. As the introduction of NEP 2020, which takes and which gives us, something called as a lifelong learning. Unless and until we volunteer and create a lot of volunteership programs, the students will not get motivated. For example, ask them to assist you in the lab. When you go for the field trip, ask them to assist you. Plantations or, they can help the juniors. Put them as, maybe, junior and senior having a tie-up and let them help the juniors for their studies or for anything for that matter. Help at the local fundraiser, collecting the donations, providing support to the students recovering from injury or illness. These are some of the very basic qualities, traits of a very good student. And before pointing out to the students, we teachers must realize that we need to have this kind of, traits. So make a worthy cause of the campaign. So I will initiate something and I will tell this is what I'm going to do. I get my permission from my boss and then I proceed, primarily that serves as a disabled, for example, and elderly. Yesterday I had been for an NGO, Karunashreya, where the cancer patients in the terminal illness, that's in the 4th stage, they have admitted, where we maybe, the people around them cannot take at that particular point of time, and where they need a lot of rest because it's a terminal illness and they want to die with some kind of not only with dignity, I should say some kind of solidarity, peacefulness, remote kind of thing. So what could be the feelings, and we can help them as teachers. So once when we start moving out as volunteers, helping the community, helping the society, obviously the students who are seeing us will follow us. Okay. And if you see the Western culture, the community and the community projects are given highest marks compared to in India. So it's a very pathetic thing which I wanted to say. In India, we don't encourage much of this community projects. When the MBA 4th semester comes, the projects means it's going to a corporate, asking for a problem statement, and then you try to solve the problem. Whether you solve the problem, you don't solve the problem. You just give a presentation and over is your project. So that's not the way that we need to do as teachers, because our personality is the one which is going to reflect the personality of the students. So our actions should speak. Okay, so what for that, if our actions should speak, then we need to sit with the students and we need to create brainstorming sessions and cultivate the pillars of personality development in the class. So if we are able to do, we might be teaching science. You can ask, Madam, I'm teaching science. Madam, I'm teaching biology. Whatever the subjects are. But, personality development is, if it is not there, the subject itself is not there. That is what I wanted to, convey at this, my humble submission to the team is, any subject it can be, any discipline it can be, but it can be taught with the line of personality development for the students. Okay. And avoiding labels, I think we have spoken enough, calling in a good way, and give them, if you want to punish them, if the students are making mistake, lovingly you punish them. It's not necessary that punishment always have to be very violent and very abusive. Make them to the point of the stress. Give them the stress. Write it 10 times or write it 3 times. Come and enact as a role play. Come and do it. Give me a simulation. Talk to them. Give me a reverse role play. So differentiate between the right and wrong rather than punishing them. Explain the reasons for not approving certain activities. All the time we can't favor them, correct? So if we cannot favor them, explain why you're not able to favor them so that they are convinced for their own benefit. And make sure you both don't disappoint each other, neither you nor the student. So that should be the thing. So listening is the one which how many of us are working on it, I don't know, but it's a very good skill. Listening is actually a skill because most of us tend to hear. When we are able to listen, we give the students an undivided attention. We give the students, making them to open up, the trust from about you, and also the golden rule of working wonders. So it's basically an ideal way of giving them a sense of worthiness and building their confidence in their personalities. So help them, and I have given here in red, help them out with being there for your students whenever they need you. Not only my one section comes to me, there are other sections also, students who comes to me. If you say, then you are there for them. Be the ultimate support for them as a responsible teacher. Guide them to go through their lives ups and downs, I should say, successfully with their inner strength. And the last pillar, or I should say the last commandment, is a positive attitude. Nothing, beats up to this positive attitude, because we always try to find fault with others. It's not my fault because it's a teamwork. The other person needs to give. So let's have a positive attitude. Okay, let it be if it is for a good. Because in some of the colleges, if you see, especially autonomous colleges, comes with a lot of rules and regulations. One after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and it is a line authority. And by the time, let me not get any permission, let me not do any program, the kind of the feeling that you have, no, have it as a positive attitude. Okay, they're asking for the papers, let me give, let me slowly, try to make it. Because take it as a lifelong learning. Adapt to the rules of the NEP 2020, you'll never have any issues. Because in this particular, not being very political for that matter, there are n number of schemes which we can make use as teachers. Apart from our NPTEL courses, our MOOC online courses, yes, those are the courses which keeps us, very active, and we are, up to date with our knowledge in whichever subject that we are teaching. Because the benefits of positive attitude, if you see, it really solves our problems, and it breeds the loyalty, it cultivates the teamwork, makes very healthy atmospheres, and above all, it reduces our own stress and develops a very pleasing personality. So as a teacher, I should not, or we should not, discourage the originality in the students. And this is one particular exercise which I want you all to take it down. MBTI, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. In the MBTI, if you just Google it or just type out MBTI online test, you will get the 16 personality, combinations, varieties of the combinations, where you can understand your own personality. And according to the personality, what you can do is, you cannot change others, but you can change your own self. Is it not? So I cannot change the other person. The other person might be an extrovert going on talking. So what I should do? I can change my own self. Being an introvert, I can just change myself an extrovert, have a chit chat with them, trying to understand and involve in a conversation. This is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it, to enrich your job, you can take up this test. This is actually a self-report, and this is not a test. Okay, so what you said is what you get. So there are some, whatever items, I would have given you 10 items for you to test for the personality. Here we might have certain items. So try to answer those items, then you will get the result. And it is basically non-judgmental. There is no right, there is no wrong. Everything, there is no good or bad. Because it just gives you the personality, what you are. Indicator of the preferences, if you see, there are no correct or incorrect answers. It's what you prefer, your preferences. And it's not a measure which lets you to sort yourself into two equal attractive options. It is not a measure where you are, who you are, how you are. No, it just gives you what you are, the personality. And this is well reached. If you see the literature, if you see research literature, if you see 600 dissertations and theses have been written on this, more than 925 articles. This is the, the database. What I'm trying to say is, there are many people who have done thousands of, I should say, the project work could be made on this. It's basically a theory-based personality types which we can discuss it. And it is highly professional and supposed to be interpreted only by those who are qualified in this. Since I am a triple T trainer, I can, looking at the results, I can very clearly tell you what is MBTI, what is your personality. After the result of the personality, if you keep telling INTJ, earlier I was INTJ when I was doing my MBA. So I stands for introvert. I can show you the scale. Okay, this is the scale. If you see, this is basically developed from Carl Jung's theory. So MBTI, can you see? It is extrovert or introvert, sensing or intuitive, thinking or feeling, judging or perceiving. So extrovert is being the energy flow, the attitude, how much it is. For as teachers, it is required this much because we are expected to do this much amount of work. We need 10 hands, not enough. So the energy level. So we must be more extrovert, which is what is expected. But once again, introverts are not bad. Okay. So sensing and intuitive, if you see, sensing is how much of data we are able to collect it. And the perceiving function, intuitive is a perceiving function. What kind of perception? Are we having a right perception or the wrong perception? Is not about the perception. It is about what is, that you can interpret or take it forward to the next level. Okay, thinking or feeling. So do you spend more time on the thinking, and decision making, which is helping for judging a particular function? So are you, more attached? So if it is towards feeling and judging and perceiving, if you see, it is orientation to the outside world, or, the kind of the attitude that we have towards an object, a person, or a situation. So these are the scales which I wanted to share with you. But otherwise, MBTI is based on Carl Jung's theory of type theory it is. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychoanalyst who began his work in 1920s. Catherine Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, a mother and a daughter, integrated his work with their research and developed this very sophisticated and useful tool. Now, the most widely used personality indicator in the world. Carl Jung's theory, preferences innate, behavior not random, but passed on the preferences. It is individual and predictable. So this was actually a very interesting tool and very useful tool, I should say, because during the World War II, MBTI was used to help the career placement. I have used this, as I told you. INTJ was my earlier before or probably doing my MBA, and now it is ESTJ, completely different. So over a period of time, we transform. This MBTI test, you all must take at least once in a year, which is recommended. Once in a year, definitely you must take it. It's an online test. You can take it, have the interpretation with the regular trainer, and try to understand that personality is not something which we, try to establish in overnight, or, it's a miracle. Teachers today, we work in an ever-changing educational environment, which is transforming at the rate that it never has been witnessed before. Various educational resources are available to everyone online at the push of a button, thanks to the digital technology and the development in the field of education. Students born in today's digital age are very fluent in the digital language and are well versed in the online world, where information of all types is at their fingertips. And therefore, the personality development of the teachers is very much necessary to ensure that children are very well prepared to be responsible to the citizens of the country. Can you see the combinations? These are the quadrants. So 16 personality traits will be developed, which you can see combinations are being created from this MBTI, which is very useful for understanding what is E and what is I. E is extrovert. Though I will be telling it is an extrovert, finding energy in things and people in the world outside of themselves. They are pulled by this outer life of action and spend very less time with thoughts and concepts. I is, finding energy in their own inner world of ideas. Most of the scientists come under I, introverts, ideas, concepts, and abstractions. They have a rich inner life and seem to require less of the outside. So nothing is wrong and nothing is right. And the personality development of the teachers, if you see, they should focus. There is an organization for this called as OECD. I don't know how many of you all are aware. In the year 1998, OECD the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development have given certain objectives for teachers. Teachers means your personality development should be like this. Your personality should be like this. What it is like this? To update your individual knowledge of a subject in the light of the recent advances in the area, whichever subject you're teaching, right? Next, to update your individual skills. Earlier, I was not riding a bike, but I have to ride a bike because I have to be independent. I don't want to take the bus. It will be very much delayed for me to go to college, correct? So any skill it could be, okay? So updating individual skills, and then create new circumstances and new educational research. So along with the students, we must develop the attitude of learning, which is very essential. What I would see in the older generation is acceptance is little difficult, but they find it very difficult to learn with the younger ones. Very few are, coming forward. So to enable the schools to develop and apply new strategies concerning the curriculum and other aspects of the teaching, pedagogy. So innovation pedagogy. In our college, we have this innovative teaching practices. Every month we submit a new. For example, in the last month, I would have done a role play. And this month, maybe, I would have showed them a video. And based on the video, I would have asked them to write down few points, explaining about the concept. Who has written the well explained points, then he or she probably might be rewarded in the class. So as we teachers, we must have hands-on training. Okay, hands-on training is very essential. And teachers must keep up with what is going on in the world around them. Current issues is a must to learn, to have complete control over the classroom activities. When technology introduces new ways, I've seen even teachers finding it very difficult to use the smart boards. So we must learn how to use the smart boards. You don't have to call the students. Okay. And, because new ways and new platforms are always, every day it is coming. So let's make use of, the Google, a lot of blogs we can create for the students to understand, helping them to create. And LinkedIn is one of the best social media platform where you can connect with other teachers. And especially, in terms of research, I should say, it gives us a lot of recognition worldwide when you are doing research papers with the other foreign authors. So that is another way. And moving on to the dressing sense, the teacher, body language, which is very important. Correct. If we are not following, then we cannot expect the students, please come in your uniforms. We cannot tell them. So, and avoid opinionated thinking, don't inculcate some kind of opinions among your students and all that. So this is one way. And let us create certain community groups and collaborations in the college. In the college itself, we have a lot of clubs. So one club, you can ask the students to create and you can guide them for the club. So the tips I have given here, how, but the choice is of course yours. And soft skills is very much necessary for the teachers. Actually, soft skills are not soft skills. It is hard skills, I should say. And I request all the teachers who are here to participate in as much as educational seminars, not just simply switching on the, system and then busy with something else. Some of the educational seminars we really need to participate because that also comes under our personality development. And to conclude, I should say the benefits of the personality development are not personal to the teachers. Okay. It is actually beneficial for the organizations too. And teachers who focus on the personality development throughout their careers, they will see a lot of improvement in their teaching standards, which will benefit the students. A well-designed personality development program assists the teachers, in better management of our administrative responsibilities, because half of us, apart from the teaching workload, we would have given the administrative responsibilities, allowing them to decide and dedicate more time and resources, for the students. It also allows us teachers to use our best practices in the classroom, examine the students very closely, because if we are not able to update our personality development, then it is very difficult for us to expect it from the students. So a well-executed personality, development program is required. At this juncture, I am not promoting, but there is a website called as a teachmint.com. They are very key in providing LMS systems, learning and management systems, and they also provide some ERP tools. So not promoting anybody, but there are n number of LMS platforms which is available. So at least a few we must be aware of and be thorough with that. So no fat, but be slick. Okay. So F is for fear and frustration. Remove that. No fat at all. A is anxiety and anger. Please remove it at any point of time. Your anger management is very much essential. No tension at all. But be slim. Slim is, have the self-confidence in your own self, love your own self, be initiative, take initiative, and try to moderate and watch your thoughts, because they become your words, and watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your destiny. Though it is an old wine in a new bottle, I thank a great opportunity that was given to me by IoT Academy in expressing my ideas. And I hope the exercise which I have shared has been very useful for the community at large. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.